Hey everybody, it's Curtis. I'm here at EMS 2026 and I'm hanging out with none other than Lynn and Matt from Exhibitus, and we're about to learn more about what goes into all of this. We're hearing a lot about a crisis in trust in marketing right now. So from where you sit, what's driving it, and why is it this moment so significant for brands?
Well, I think there's a lot of oversaturation when it comes to content, right?
Okay.
And on top of that, when you have AI mixed into it, it's like everybody who is being bombarded with content and information is really concerned about what is truly authentic and what has been crafted by a bot.
Yeah, and that's very true because it's crazy. This is what question number 2 is great. AI is everywhere. So how is it changing the way we evaluate what is real, and what does that mean for how brands are going to show up?
Well, I will tell you, marketers are extremely bright and they know exactly all the content cues to look for when it comes to AI. So I think to break through all of that, marketers really need to be on point in authenticity in the content and the information that they're sharing.
Perfect. All right, thank you, Lynn. So I want to know a little bit about this. So a lot of event marketers lead with technology. So we have tech,
Yep.
right? The LED walls, the AR experiences, the flashy demos. What do the best ones do differently, though?
I mean, ultimately, you got to start with human emotion. Okay, you can't lead with technology. Technology is just a delivery mechanism for a narrative and a story for a brand, because people are looking for connection. They're looking for emotional resonance, moments, discovery, having conversations like this. That's why you have so many people at the show at EMS. And technology just becomes this delivery mechanism that really resonates with people, but only if that story told is strong.
Yeah, and that's a really good answer because a lot of people do it, but not everybody does it well. So with question number 2, I want to know personalization. Gets talked about a lot in digital marketing. I'm also in digital marketing, and this is what I like to see. But what does genuine personalization actually mean for brands? And like in a live environment, how do we personalize that?
I think it's just fierce curiosity in people and what drives them, and being curious about understanding where they're coming from, because our audiences are getting wide and deep, and they want to be connected with differently. And if you don't understand that, some of these things like the previous question, you got technology up there, it's not telling the right story for the right audience. It's a total miss.
Yeah.
Right? So that fierce curiosity and understanding, asking the right questions, genuine empathy with your audiences is just paramount when creating experiences.
I love that. All right, so you said live environment. So when you walk into a trade show or an event or brand activation, and you can immediately tell it's going to be exceptional, what are you seeing that tips you off?
I think it's understanding the landscape that you're headed into. And a lot of brands risk just being part of the noise.
Yeah.
Right? This show is very noisy.
Yeah.
Providing a space that's an oasis and opens people's minds, create a sense of calm, but also energy, and building that cadence is hyper important to having a resonant brand and marketing strategy, right? We talk to my designers all the time about, like, if you unfocused your eyes and your mind, would you still understand the vision of that brand?
All right, so Matt, tell us what you have going on here at EMS.
So at Exhibitus, X Studios, we talk about the power of plus. And everything we just answered in the previous questions is about that amplification of experience, okay? So a lot of companies like ours were born in the exhibit space, and it's all about structure. And I mentioned story before structure already. And what we're really doing with our clients and brands and partners is amplifying story.
I love that.
Completely unapologetic, and amplifying audiences and their experiences so that they remember why it mattered going to those events. Because we know, like anybody else, the ROI is just amplified for each individual coming to these shows. They need to understand why it is that they came here and what they walk away with.
All right, Lynn, so Experiential has historically had a hard time earning a seat at that strategy table. Why is that, and what needs to change about how the industry talks about value?
Well, I think that value is the right word.
Yeah.
With regards to why people struggle with that seat at the table is because we're playing the ROI game. And the ROI is one of the hardest metrics to prove, really, when it comes to live event marketing. And so once marketers become very comfortable with changing the conversation from return on investment to value for investment, all of a sudden, stakeholders start to look at that and say, tell me more. And then you can lean into revenue certainly being an aspect of it, but it is only one of many different aspects of value.
I like it. So from ROI to VFI.
I say V4I.
V4I. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so Lynn, how do you measure something as intangible as trust or emotional connection? And is that even possible, and does it matter?
Well, it's possible in the sense that you have to understand that those are moment sentiments. And what I really kind of call that are proxy metrics, which means that they're short term. And so as it's extremely valuable to still get that information, but what you need to do is make sure that those proxy metrics don't necessarily take over the overarching objectives. So, but you use those insights in the moment from your audience and then be able to apply it to the insights you gather from the hard data.
So Lynn was talking about ROI and all this, what is it, V4I? Now, that is good, and that actually leads to what I'm looking at now. Where are marketing dollars actually moving right now, and what does that tell us about where brand strategy is headed over the next few years?
Super clear to us. I mean, it is curated experiences, and not just in conferences and trade shows, but off-site, right? So there's a marriage between these activations that are happening at the same time as these events like we're sitting in right now, but also on their own. And these curated experiences are hyper important, right? We talked about audience experience and engagement earlier. And when you understand your audience, you can curate an experience and make people feel special, and you're having richer conversations, the ROI going both ways gets amplified.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And this is what I want to know now is younger audiences are increasingly resistant to polished digital first marketing. How do you design experiences that actually resonate with them versus just targeting? And they're very direct.
And very discerning,
Yeah.
right? So I have young kids, and I know that these kids don't want to be presented to,
Yeah.
right? They want to participate.
Yep.
Okay, so we use that mantra with younger audiences all the time. And frankly, some of the audiences need a fresh perspective too in the older generations, right?
Yes.
So it's when you're participating, that resonance just lasts so much longer, and that brand relationship gets much richer. And so these younger audiences just getting a flood of content, these kids that grew up online,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Need things and are yearning for things that are more authentic and genuine. And so you can't over choreograph these things. So you have to be really careful once you cross that line into over polished.
Yeah.
It's got to feel rich. It's got to feel warm. It's got to feel casual and authentic.
Yeah.
I keep using that word.
Yeah. And in the world of AI, like Lynn was talking about earlier,
Oh, yeah.
that's very important because how do we know what's real and what's not?
I mean, they've got the best eye for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're growing up in it.
Yeah.
So they call BS like so quick, right? I feel it, man. I got thick skin. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, it just informs and has us really hyper focus on everything we're talking about here, these human experiences.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think EMS is such a giant show? I
Yeah.
mean, people are still showing up
Yeah.
because they love having these conversations and connecting with each other.
No, I love it. Thank you, Matt. I'm going to bring
Yeah,
Lynn back.
absolutely.
And I appreciate you, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, Lynn, last two. So what's the boldest thing you think a brand could do right now that is genuinely to stand out in a way it engages its audience live?
Well, this may not be the most popular thing, but pick a fight or make a bold statement that people would be totally surprised by. So for instance, can you imagine if a clothing company said, don't buy a single thing until you wear out that one item until the end, right?
Like that.
Because I think that what comes from that is that authenticity that we're talking about, right? It's something that is unexpected for consumers to really hear coming from a brand, because it's then not always about me, buy my brand or align with my brand. It's actually giving you a good piece of advice that is better for the entire ecosystem.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And that's something I abide by. And you have to give more value than just sell. And this is why I like this last question. For a CMO who's still treating live events as an afterthought in their broader marketing mix, what's your honest message to them?
You know, there is so much noise out there. We've talked about AI. We've talked about saturation of content. I think people want community. They still want connection.
Yes.
They still want this face-to-face that we have going on, right?
Yeah.
So don't make it an afterthought.
Yeah.
You know, really sorry,
Dive deep.
dive.
We authentic here, y'all.
Yes, authentic. Dive deeply
Yeah.
into the touching, the feeling, the doing that you want people
Yes.
to emotionally connect with your brand, because that is the authenticity that people are looking for. They want experiences that last more than a moment. They want the stickiness, that they feel as if they matter to the brand themselves
Yes.
instead of just being another person or a touch point.
Here you go. Take it.
Exactly. So, and that really is what proves and drives value.
No, I love that. I love that. Even and the biggest driver for that for me was 2020. When we were all online, everybody said, I want to be in person. And that's what I think is the most important way to actually know who you're speaking to, other than just looking at online. So now, since we talked about that, what is this and what am I doing with this?
So our entire messaging revolves around the power of plus.
Okay.
It's taking two great things, but when you combine them together, you get something unique, you get something more memorable. And so our activation here is really talking about the power of plus. You know, what are people needing? What are they seeking? You know, what's most important to them in their program? And so we have this activation where you've got a variety of different choices. You've got engagement plus content. It's not just about words or an ad. It's about the emotional connection that you're making.
Like that.
And there's a variety around here, including Ross and Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, this is the Vegas experience, right? You have the Friends experience, the one in Vegas. So, you know, some people really want to see that thrive. So anyway, it's a survey poll where people can actually put in their pluses on things that are important to them.
Ross and Rachel, and I gotta love some entertainment
Yeah.
because that's what I do.
And so what it does is it activates the space and people can understand, you know, the connection that they're making with us.
I love it. Thank you, Lynn. I want to thank Matt and Exhibitus for hanging out with us here at EMS 2026.